Imagine a world where the gadgets in your pocket, the electric cars on the road, and even military tech could grind to a halt because of a simmering trade dispute. Welcome back to the US-China trade tensions that just won't quit. Beijing is firing back at Washington, accusing the US of hypocrisy and staunchly defending its restrictions on rare earth exports, all while holding off on slapping new tariffs on American goods. This latest flare-up has investors on edge and could throw a wrench into high-stakes diplomatic talks. Picture this. Back in 2010, workers in the Chinese port city of Lianyungang were busy loading soil rich with rare earth elements onto ships for export. These minerals, think neodymium for powerful magnets in wind turbines or dysprosium for high-tech alloys, aren't just rocks. They're the unsung heroes powering everything from smartphones to fighter jets. Fast forward to today, and controlling their flow has become a geopolitical chess move. From Beijing and Hong Kong on October 12th, Reuters reports that China has labeled President Donald Trump's newest tariffs on Chinese imports as outright two-faced. In response to Beijing's recent limits on exporting rare earths and related gear, Trump hit back on Friday with a whopping 100% tariff hike on goods heading to the U.S., plus upcoming restrictions on key software exports starting November 1st. For beginners dipping into global economics, tariffs are essentially taxes on imports that make foreign products pricier, often sparking retaliation and higher costs for everyone involved, like paying more for your next iPhone. This renewed clash is shaking up Wall Street, with stock futures dipping and big tech giants like Apple and Tesla seeing their shares slide. Why? Many foreign firms rely heavily on China's dominance in processing these rare earths into usable forms, such as magnets for electric vehicle motors. And here's where it gets really dicey. This could scuttle a planned summit between Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping later this month, potentially stalling progress on everything from climate goals to supply chain stability. In a detailed statement, China's Commerce Ministry explained that their export controls on rare earth elements, which Trump dubbed surprising and very hostile, are a direct reaction to a string of U.S. moves since trade discussions in Madrid last month. For context, rare earths are a group of 17 elements vital for modern tech, and China produces about 80% of the world's supply, giving it serious leverage. Beijing pointed to examples like the U.S. adding Chinese firms to its trade blacklist, which bars them from buying American tech, and imposing extra port fees on ships tied to China, set to kick in around October 14th. These steps have seriously damaged China's interests and poisoned the environment for our economic and trade dialogues. We strongly oppose them, the ministry declared. But, and this is the part most people miss, Beijing didn't outright link these U.S. actions to their mineral curbs. Instead, they framed the restrictions as a protective measure against the metal's use in military gear, especially amid rising global conflicts. It's a nuanced stance. Are they safeguarding national security or playing hardball in a resource war? Unlike earlier this year, when the two giants escalated tariffs in a tit-for-tat frenzy, pushing U.S. rates to 145%, and China's to 125%. China isn't rushing to counter with new duties on U.S. imports right now. Jumping to extreme tariffs isn't how you handle relations with China. Our stance on trade battles remains firm. We prefer peace, but we're ready if pushed, the ministry added, warning of corresponding actions if the U.S. doesn't back down. Yet, by not firing back immediately, China might be leaving room for cooler heads to prevail and negotiate a way out of this mess. It's a classic game of brinkmanship. Will it lead to de-escalation or explosion? But here's where it gets controversial. Is China's control over rare earths a legitimate defense of its resources, or a subtle weapon to pressure the West into concessions? Some argue it's hypocritical for Beijing to cry foul on tariffs while hoarding critical minerals, especially when the U.S. has been diversifying suppliers to reduce dependency. What do you think? Could this spark a broader resource race, or is it just posturing? Drop your agreement, disagreement, or hot takes in the comments below. Let's discuss how this might reshape the global economy. Reporting by Eduardo Baptista in Beijing and Selena Lee in Hong Kong. Editing by William Mallard. Our standards, the Thomson Reuters Trust Principles.